Na 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 na. Wake up, it's sunny in the morning. Not so boring. You get up from your snoring, cause we're talking about the iPad 2. The consumer wrote for you. And my name's Singer Rim, the Asian sensation with the persuasion that my mama is Asian. She makes that nice rice. I go to Lowell Moreland High School, cause school is cool. And we're here to talk about the iPad 2. The new thin, light, fully loaded iPad 2. The new iPad 2 has two cameras for FaceTime and HD video recording. HD video recording. One on the front and one on the back. Small but deadly. They're designed for FaceTime, which is talking to each other from a far distance, looking in the screen and seeing the other person. It puts you and your friends face to face. You switch back to your back camera during your video calling, and you get to share where you are, who you with, what's going on around you, in front of you, side you, behind you. And it's HD, so whatever you shoot, it's basically a mini masterpiece. Not only you can use FaceTime, you can use it for, other things by in your room, you're lonely and you're talking to your boo. And you're just trying to show them something. But anyways, there's also the dual-core A5 chip, which is the most powerful iPad ever. The two powerful cores in one A5 chip makes it twice the work at once. Twice. So not once, but it doubles it. So you give me $5, I'll give you $10 back. So it's double. Multitasking is smooth, apps load quickly, and anything you touch responds instantly. And with up to 9 times the graphic performance of the first generation iPad, everything on the iPad 2 is even more fluid and realistic. Even from gameplay to scrolling through your photo library. The iPad 2 also offers a 10-hour battery life. 10-hour battery life. It's even longer, which keeps going as long as you're going. So if you're traveling, it's going with you and the battery is still on with you. Even with such a thin, light design, the iPad has an incredible 10-hour battery life. There's enough juice for one flight across the ocean, or one movie watching all night, or a week's commute across town, because the iPad 2 hard drive, hardware, software are made for each other, and their powerful efficient A5 chip works with the iOS 5 software to keep battery life from fading away. Speaking of the iOS 5 is a new improvement. It is the operating system for the iPad, and it lets you see and do everything by just touching the screen. It includes all the powerful, innovative, and fun built-in apps you can use every day, many times a day, and it's the platform for which more than 1,400 other amazing iPad apps have been created to take advantage of the large multitask screen. And now with over 200 new features in the iOS 5, which also includes Newsstand, iMessage, and Notification Center, the iOS 5 is yet another reason no other design comes close to the iPad. You're terrible. Also, there's a lot more features that the iPad offers, which is the LED backlight design, the display, compass, and the new iCloud. So now that you know all about this iPad, there's a lot of positives and negatives. But negatives aren't really negatives because the iPad 2 is sick. Around the world, positive of the iPad 2 is that it's dramatically thinner and boasts front and rear cameras, FaceTime video chat, a faster processor, and 3G options for both AT&T and Verizon. So not only can you use Wi-Fi, but then if you go with the 3G option, you can use it anywhere you go without iPad. We're gonna go back to negatives because is that the screen resolution hasn't budgeted. So the photo quality is mediocre. There's still no Adobe Flash support, and ports for the HDMI, USB, and SD all require adapters. But the bottom line is that the iPad 2 refines an already excellent product. It's easy to use, interface, vast app catalog, and marathon battery life bolster apps claim to be the king of tablets. Though we all know that the iPad 2 is sick and is the best tablet out there. There's a lot of competitors out there, and I'm gonna tell you why that the iPad 2 is better. First of all, there's also the iPad 1, and we explain why it's a lot better. You know, there's a higher operating system. The battery life is better. There's cameras on there. And it's just a smaller, cooler thing. There's also the Motorola Zoom, but that's $800. $800 for 1 gigabyte of RAM memory and 32 gigabytes of storage. So you can't get a 16 gigabyte. You can't get a 16 gigabyte. You can't get a 8. You can only get a 32 for $800. That's bogus. Bogus. And there's also the there's also the HP touchpad, which we don't even know the price. That's how sucky it is, you know. The operating system is WebOS 3.0. What the heck is WebOS 3.0? We don't even know what that is. It sucks. You know. There's Bluetooth keyboarding case. You know, the iPad 2 comes with a case. You can flip it and watch it. You know, the iPad 2 is a lot better. You know, and there's not even an unknown battery life for that APA touchpad. That's a touchpad. All right. So speaking of getting the iPad 2. We have a guest speaker named Frankie Gould. You know, he's a rapper from the hood, and he's got this song for the iPad 2. Ready? And here we go.
I'm feeling it. Man, it's that all new iOS 5. I wish that I could say it's jive, but it's not. You best rethink what you thought. If you are ever distraught, whip out the 4S. It's the best.
Round of applause for Frankie Gould. You know, he's the man. He's talking about the iPad 2. And now that we got everything through, Frankie, he had an okay rap. We're gonna talk about pricing. We got the 16 gigabyte, $499. There's a 32 gigabyte, $599, and the 64 gigabyte, $699. Yes, it's a little expensive, but what can you do? Masterpiece come at a price. Laughing at them, There's also the 3G, which you want, you can have internet everywhere. So that at 16 gigabytes costs $629. At 32 gigabytes it costs $729. And the 64 gigabyte costs $829. Again, that's very expensive, but unfortunately, you gotta pay for what you ask for. Well, that's all for today for the Sunny in the Morning show. We'll be back next week talking about the iPad 6. And I'll talk to you later. Goodbye, America.